I'm Bianca.
I'm Pilar.
And we are here to discuss Gone Girl by...
But first, we want to let you know where we're filming from. We are filming from the Iguana restaurant in Manhattan. We told you we were going to do our book reviews at different places in Manhattan. So right now we're in a hot place called Iguana, New York City. And they have the best Mexican food here.
Not that they're paying us. Okay.
All right. So
Gone Girl.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Pilar?
How are you, doll?
Okay, so my views about Gone Girl. I really loved the book. I think the writing is brilliant. I think that, if I'm not looking at it from a perspective of I finished the book, I know the ending, I would think that Nick was an asshole and that he did not care about his wife and that he just was a little bit of one of those guys that will cheat and feel good about himself and a good ego boost for a nice beautiful college student. And
what? I mean, come on. Typical man. It's a typical man situation.
Yeah, I just see, what it seemed to me? It seemed so typical, but I didn't really believe that he had killed his wife. That part did not really. Shocking. I was on his side. I was not on Amy's side. Amy to me seemed calculated from the get-go. Even though she was
something. That was crazy.
What?
She is a typical sociopath, for real.
She's a typical sociopath.
I mean, she's the typical nightmare woman you don't want to be married to. For real.
Well, the thing about her is, in her diary entries in the beginning of the book, you would think, oh, well, she's just insecure and she's trying to be cool. But then as you get to part 2, you realize, what would you... To me, it was as if, did the character have that much motivation to put herself on the line that much for that man? It seemed to me like she didn't even respect him that much to begin with, to change who she was, Amazing Amy, for this Missouri guy.
Well, you know what I think what's happening, I think the breakdown that kind of happened was with her parents. I think her parents kind of made a caricature of her. So I think somewhere along the line with them doing Amazing Amy, she didn't know who she was. So I think that she had a fragmented self, and that kind of perpetuated not knowing who she was. And so when she met Missouri guy, he was kind of totally different than what she's been with, and he kind of brought this side of her out.
He brought out the nonchalant side to her. He brought out the carefree side, but she didn't even know how to deal with that because she reverted not back to Amazing Amy, but back to crazy, controlling female girlfriend.
But I mean, okay, I'm just gonna take the devil's advocates right now, the perspective of, aren't we kind of aren't all women kind of crazy like that? I mean, aren't we?
I think that the author was trying to get us to sympathize with her to an extent, because we can be, not women, and not only women but also men. When we want someone, we can put on a little bit of a persona, and we can become obsessive. It's very common.
Depending on what the dynamic.
This is the extreme version.
Exactly. I mean, I think Gillian Flynn did a fabulous job, of kind of revealing certain aspects through Amy that, I mean, it was an exaggerated form, but I think that, she touches upon what most women and men deal with in relationships. I mean, she kind of exposed it, and I thought she was kind of comical about it in a way. It was kind of funny, But I mean, it did get kind of crazy and stuff, and we'll talk more about that. But I mean, if you're just seeing it from that perspective, there is a lot of similarities that happen in relationships and that kind of dynamic where she's the only child with her mother and father having a larger than life kind of, make a persona of her where she didn't even know who she was. Like, I mean, I kind of feel compassion for her in a sense. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, she didn't really know who she was because she was being defined by her parents, and they were rich and powerful and all this.
So that must really contribute to her psychology and why she feels like she doesn't know who she is.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So then when she meets him, like, she's like, wow, he's like completely different. She starts like getting in touch with certain aspects of herself.
But then she reverts right back to her old self when she can't take that. And, well, he does have an affair.
Yeah.
And she starts to slip up.
Yeah.
And she starts to feel like, oh, well, if this woman can get my husband, and I don't want to let her win, I don't want to let him win. So she starts to get back into, like, Amazing Amy Plus. Like, she just already has it in her to begin with, and it has not fully gone away because it's not as if he could truly make her real self go away. And then she gets back into it full force.
I agree, but also, I mean, think of it in terms of like, how in the world, I mean, was she supposed to deal with him like cheating on her? I mean, you know, she said,
well, you know what it is that she realizes she was never herself to begin with. She was always lying, always putting on a persona. And then clearly he's gonna realize who she really is. And then he goes for somebody who he feels more comfortable with, less of a competitive feeling amongst the couple.
well, she wasn't, you know, she was way younger though. The woman that he was having an affair with was a student.
Around 10 years younger.
Yeah, so I mean, there is some sort of, I mean, like a guy that goes with a woman that's way younger, there's a different type of dynamic that happens in that kind of a relationship with regards to her. It's different. And you know, Amy did say, oh, well, when I started to show my real self, you know, he didn't embrace it.
So that's the problem. He never knew her when he married her. Then he kind of got to know her, didn't like who she really was, and then he went for somebody more suitable for him.
Yeah.
And she always had this insecurity with her age, but it wasn't about her age, it was about her never approving of him. But she took that to such a high level of, what I don't understand about the book is, I can understand that maybe she has some tendencies which are semi-sociopathic, narcissistic, but she really takes it to another level what he did to her.
Well, I mean, she obviously has some issues.
But then the end of the book is quite interesting when they get together again. I can't believe it.
That's crazy.
I can't believe he would trust her again after all that. And not that he trusts her, but even like being in the same room, it just scares me.
That's kind of crazy. There's something wrong with that.
It's insane, and you know, everything that unfolds is like this. It just amazes me, each detail that the writer put in. She just puts in a twist and a turn that you would never expect every couple chapters.
Now,
it's beautiful.
That's the brilliance of Gillian Flynn.
Brilliant twists and turns.
You know, I have to be honest. If Gillian, if you do hear this little interview of our humble little interview, I want you to know that we think you're freaking brilliant. Okay.
Brilliant.
But I don't know. I'm speaking for myself. I don't know if my associate here will agree.
I believe you're brilliant.
But bottom line, Gillian, I don't understand why you dragged the first part of the book out.
Oh,
for real.
Oh,
I mean, for real. I mean, the second part just moved. It was beautiful. I mean,
okay. The first part's a bit dragged out. I would say about 50 to 100 pages dragged. It could have been shortened.
It didn't need. Honestly, why? Like, why did you drag it out like that? I don't get it.
Part of me thinks that she wanted to really be detailed.
But it was too
She
much.
really wanted us to believe that he murdered her before she twisted it.
No,
she
I
wanted
get
to
that.
add every single detail.
I get that, and it was. I mean, she weaved the story brilliantly, taking parts from part 1 into part 2. Fabulous. She's gifted. I'm not taking anything away from her writing ability and her voice. What I'm saying is, I just don't believe it needed to be that dragged out. That's my only point. Like, I really don't believe that it needed to be that dragged out.
I agree. I agree it could have been shorter. Because people who don't know how good the book is going to get,
They might give up.
might get bored.
Exactly. And you want to keep the reader enticed. You want to keep I'm not saying that readers are lazy, but we're dealing with a time that people are quick. They don't have the attention span that they did in the past. We're dealing with a very computer-centered, internet-centered, social media-centered generation that wants quick fix. So if you're going to be dragging out the beginning of your book where you want to capture the attention of your readers, the last thing you're going to want to do in this generation, in this time, is, just point blank, drag it out to the point where, her and I, we're readers, we hung in there, but most people won't.
So that's some input.
Yeah.
Before, it was almost as if the climax happened too late. As if the rising action and everything that gets you, that twists you, that gets you hooked, happened too late. And I understand that a lot of things need to be strung out, but you could have really compacted that. And it could have kept us on our toes more than making us feel like, oh, let's just get to the next part to enjoy the book.
Yeah.
Because now, you know what it is that strikes me about this book? Amy's perspective, when she changes, is so genius.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And that's where the writing really grabs you.
Part 2.
When she changes, her diary changes because she had a fake diary. When her real diary comes in, even you think, oh, Nick's part, not that interesting. Amy's fake diary entries, not that interesting. But when you read Amy, who she really is, you're like, wow, that writing is raw. That writing is
It was
screwed
riveting.
up. It was screwed up. Exactly.
Totally. I agree with you, Bianca.
And it really shows you the unique voice of the book.
Yep.
But before that, the book does not shine.
Nope.
But you know that you need to keep reading because something's going to happen.
Yeah, and also, she's an excellent writer. Gillian, I think
Excellent.
you're fabulous. I'm not taking anything away from your work. You're
I
incredible.
completely understand where you came from with part 1, and you wanted to not drag things out, but you wanted to really get us to believe the story, believe Amy, believe Nick, understand the crime scene. I completely agree with that.
Yep.
I just felt in my gut that I would have lost interest if I did not know through other readers that this book gets really, really
Exactly. That's a good point.
good later on.
Yes.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yep.
It's for every writer.
Yeah,
Something to
not just
really
you, yeah.
keep in mind.
Totally.
I'm going to keep that in mind. Maybe that's a
Something
sign.
Oh
Oh my God, it's a sign, Pilar. Oh my God.
I totally learned. I totally learned from this. For real.
We learned. Found. We got it now. We know. Part 1 is not going to last too long. I'm cutting that down.
Forget it.
100 pages, not 200. I got it. No problem.
Oh, for real.
I got you. Oh my God.
So, basically, this is our review. We loved Gone Girl. We have no problem with it. We think it's great. The writing was fabulous. Gillian is extremely talented. We enjoyed her writing style. And it's very original. We have no qualms about what was done and the creativity and the unique storyline. It's fabulous. So that is our discussion.
Thank you.
Coming live from Iguana, New York City. Thanks for joining us.
All right, we're going to discuss the next book ASAP.
Yep.
And you guys can leave comments about what you want to read, and we'll choose that too.
We would like to know what you would like to read. But we're going to try to keep it on the short side because these long books, we need to get through these.
Because we're reading like 5 books at once.
So we're going to have to pick, choose books that are not that long so that we can continue the flow.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
reading. Ciao.
Bye.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Grazie.